Man, what does this clown know? He originally denied breaking laws in another country. Play the clip.
I think it's a crime, honestly, to separate someone for any reason. So I definitely will be speaking up against that legislation and those laws that are trying to be passed, for sure.
It sounds like he's speaking from a place of experience. And what was a crime was when they released you from prison. I'm just waiting on the whistleblower to share the locker room with this Sasquatch to go ahead and come forward with the elephant in the room. The amount of females that are hell-bent on erasing women's athletics in the name of woke politics is just staggering to me.
Just this past weekend, there were some asinine statements made by two high-level and recognizable athletes. But it's not the athletes people should be looking at, but the sports media. First, there was Brittney Griner, who's a 6'8" basketball player in the WNBA. Of course, not a lot of people watch the WNBA, so most of you will probably know her as being the idiot who got caught with some weed on her, over there in Russia, to where she served time and was held as a hostage for political purposes, and then was released as a part of an exchange to where the Biden administration gave up Victor Bout, an arms dealer that was labeled the merchant of death. Think about that. I mean, once again, we as America trade a person who conspired to endanger America's safety for a basketball player that smokes a lot of weed. I mean, that is the epitome of being woke. If anyone asks you what does it mean to be woke, just mention this stupid trade. So Brittney going on her book tour, for her new book, which is a memoir about her stupid mistakes, and also getting ready for the upcoming WNBA season, she took questions from the media and was asked this particular question.
I hate to put one more thing on your plate, but there are a number of states who are aggressively moving to prevent transgender athletes playing. And I was wondering, again, I hate to put one more thing on your plate, but in terms of on your radar, where is that? You're going to have a tremendous platform, but where is that going to be on your radar in terms of advocating for, athletes, all athletes, transgender athletes, to be able to play?
Oh, I mean, that ranks high on the list of things that I'll be fighting for and speaking up against. Everyone deserves the right to play. Everyone deserves the right to come here, sit in these seats, and feel safe, and not feel like there's a threat or they can't be who they are, or like it's just all eyes on them. So I think it's a crime, honestly, to separate someone for any reason. So I definitely will be speaking up against that legislation and those laws that are trying to be passed, for sure.
Now, this is where I defend Brittney, because the liberal sports media is up to their usual tricks. The question had a lie in the statement. As the journalist from ESPN, Will Roden, he has stated that there were numerous bills preventing transgender people from playing. And that's untrue. The bills are not preventing transgender athletes from playing. They can play. They can. But only against the boys or men of their same biological sex. And I say boys or men because we all know there aren't any biological women looking to play in male-dominated sports. And there's no need to wonder why. So the answer Brittney gave was more of an overall scope of allowing everyone to play. So when she said it is a crime to separate for any reason, I gather she was speaking in reference to equal opportunity in playing sports, regardless of how someone identifies. Because if I was asked the same question, first I would probably ask a follow-up for some type of clarity. But if the question was presented to me that way, I would answer it the same way as Brittney did. This situation here speaks more to how athletes are. I wouldn't say they're stupid, but I would say most athletes are senseless. As a sports media, which I can't stand, is very dishonest and duplicitous in their way of asking questions. So I know a lot of people, on the internet are ripping Brittney by saying she's advocating for biological men to be in the WNBA. But when you listen closely to the way the question was asked, you'll see that the media was the one that was, coming up with the trickery. The question was asked in a way to make it seem that the progressive ideology of trans and women's sports was being pushed by Brittney. And don't get me wrong, Brittney most likely will support trans in her sport, but only because she, in my opinion, is highly compromised from her, prisoner exchange. Nothing in life is free, and she pretty much has to say and do whatever she's being told. Now, another athlete spewing some stupidness is primetime Deion Sanders. And I love primetime. Seriously. Man, I would just watch him play for the 49ers and Cowboys. I would love doing his touchdown dance. But now that Deion's a coach, where he has to deal with a lot of young people and parents, he has to do his best to remain, in a perception that he's down with the cause, that he's woke. And was a great way for a black man to stay woke. What else? Cry racism.
While NFL teams have signed at least 16 players from HBCUs as undrafted free agents after the draft, during the draft, the New England Patriots were the only team to draft an HBCU player in Isaiah Bolden from Jackson State. Deion Sanders took to Twitter to voice his concern with this, saying, "You deserve to be drafted much higher, but I'm truly proud of you. I know how much you want this. I'm ashamed of the 31 other NFL teams that couldn't find draft value in all of the talented HBCU players, and we had 3 more draft-worthy players at JSU."
So let me get this straight. Primetime coach at a HSBCU in Jackson State, then leaves for a predominantly white school in Colorado University, then implies the NFL is racist, well, more prejudiced, and that they overlook talent from HSBCUs. But then he, Deion, takes talent from the HSBCU through the transfer portal to Colorado. Is Deion smoking something? And of course, the sports media will not say anything in regards to this, as people like, Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp, and Skip Bayless and so forth. I mean, they'll disagree with what Deion said. Obviously, that's a no-brainer, because not only is the NFL not racist, but they're not prejudiced against HSBCUs. I mean, if a scout finds talent and sees talent at an HSBCU, he's going to take it regardless. But just like how the media, was deceitful in the way they questioned Brittney Griner, here the sports media is being oblivious and why Deion even made these comments. And, they won't even call him out on his phoniness. They just stay quiet. And now, obviously, it's probably because they don't want to lose their access to Deion. But then if that's the case, then where's the integrity here? I mean, the only person in sports outside of the internet that will at times call out athletes for the dumb stuff they say or do is Charles Barkley. And that's on occasions. So I don't blame the athletes and our coaches here. I strictly blame the media, as they're the ones to push whatever narrative they want and whatever narrative they choose. And if an athlete says something that's way off course and way to the left, like implying that the NFL is being racist or prejudiced during the draft, not to pick players from an HSBCU that you left for a white school, no matter if you say something crazy like that, the media will stay quiet on the hypocrisy. And I believe Deion really knows this. He does. He has to. He just playing the media. So these two great athletes in their respective sports does not tell me that they are stupid athletes. As like I said, in Deion's case, he's very astute in how the media works. As not only he used to work in the media on the NFL Network, but he also worked the media in order to market his persona as primetime. So I expect more from Deion. But apparently, Deion just proven that he's still about himself first to a high degree, on a high level of narcissism. As for Brittney Griner, I'm a bit more sympathetic for her, as I can imagine the strings placed on her back since she returned back from Russia. I mean, she is totally indebted to the Biden administration for that lopsided exchange it had. An exchange that comes with so many strings attached. She's like a damn puppet for them. I mean, whatever the Democratic agenda is, she got to do it. These stupid comments she made are just the beginning, as the WNBA season is about to start, and she'll have more opportunities to be interviewed and to spew whatever she's told to say, regardless of how she feels or even thinks. But then again, that's what she's getting paid for. I mean, she can't be getting paid for playing basketball in the WNBA. Come on. The league has yet to turn a profit in 25 years. But the NBA continues to subsidize this league. And I say because in their eyes, the NBA that is, the WNBA is very successful. As a matter of fact, I think the WNBA is more successful than the NBA. You don't agree? Hear me out. And let me know if I make a compelling argument. Because like I said, the WNBA is not about basketball.